Shall we do it one last time? Hey there guys, so my Power Ranger related videos are coming to an end, and what better way to end it than to rank every Power Ranger series. I've been working on this for months. I had to rewatch a few series, so I really hope this pays off. Now before I get started, I just want to go through some ground rules. Number one, this is my opinion, this is objective. Please don't put any nasty comments or anything like that. Number two, Ninja Steel won't be on this list because it's only aired about 10 episodes so far, so it's very unfair to put it on the list, even though it's aired like... I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't heard any bad things or good things about it yet, so it's a bit unfair. Number three, with the Neo Saban era stuff, like the Super Megaforce or Samurai or the Dino Charge stuff, they will be in like one separate category. So for example, Samurai and Super Samurai will be at the same together because they are the same season, they're just split into 2 years. And number four, the Mighty Morphin stuff will be split into their 3 seasons because they are different in many ways. So let's get started with number 20, the worst Power Ranger season of all time. And yes, I did use the word worst because it is a really, really bad season. At number 20, my least favourite Power Ranger series of all time, and a series I have no desire to watch ever again, and that's Operation Overdrive. I'm sorry, apart from a few good ideas, and the Once of the Ranger storyline that celebrated the 15th anniversary, which was pretty darn good, this is just such a terrible series, with unlikable characters, even the Rangers, dull storylines, terrible villains. I mean, like, they did such a bad job with the treasure hunting storyline, which could be like a really good thing. Just go and watch Bokanger, that is such a better series. At number 19, we have Megaforce and Super Megaforce. The best thing to come out of Megaforce is Robo Knight, and that's a shame because I think he's one of the best 6 Rangers of all time. But this series made me ashamed to be a Power Rangers fan. Half the Rangers can't act. Every episode doesn't have any genuine storytelling. It just feels like an advertisement for a new toy. And it was trying so hard to be like Mighty Morphin when they should have just embraced the Sentai counterpart, Ghost Ranger, with something like Angels in Heaven, something we haven't seen before. But no, it's too hard for Saban to do. And when you get to Super Megaforce, which meant to celebrate 20 years of Power Rangers, it's one of the most disappointing things ever. The writers didn't do any proper research. It's Animaria. What the hell is an Animaria? And that's not even Quorum. Saban was just being lazy. They relied too much on Gokyo Ranger footage. And not every season got their own tribute episode. But what about the Legendary Battle? Yeah, it was decent, but I can name at least like 10 problems with that episode. And the reason why I put this over Operation Overdrive is just because nostalgia, really. At number 18, we have Turbo. How bad is this season? Well, it almost cancelled Power Rangers. I'm trying to be fair, but it has some horrible writing. And some of the worst episodes of Power Rangers are in this season. They abandoned all the world building from the previous seasons. And Tommy, Adam, Tanya and Catherine weren't suited for this season. And Bulk and Skull are at their lowest point. People do say the second half gets better. Yeah, it gets from bad to pretty decent. However, there are some gems. I really like that episode where the Rangers get stuck inside a pizza, that's pretty fun. I really like the Blue Centurion character. And the finale, Chase into Space, is one of the best finales ever. It's really well handled. It's one of the best episodes in Power Rangers, I think. At number 17, we have Samurai and Super Samurai. I do have to admit, I have a soft spot for this season. I think the Rangers and the supporting characters are very likeable, even though some of them are really annoying, like Antonio. And the Samurai Megazord is one of my favourite Megazords of all time. But apart from that, it has some horrible writing, terrible acting. There's stuff in this series that overdue their welcome. For example, the Decker storyline. The villains are dreadful. I remember they aired like a random episode when they first aired in America. Not a good start. At number 16, we have Lightspeed Rescue. This isn't a bad season. On paper, it sounds pretty cool. But to me, it's okay. Okay characters, mediocre villains, a good majority of episodes, but they do feel a bit rushed. The only things I would say that was outstanding was the Titanium Ranger arc and the kick-ass theme song. At number 15, we have Mystic Force. There is a lot to like about this series, and there's stuff you just want to shout the screen at. I really like how they executed magic, and I thought Korai was just an interesting villain. But the major problems to this series is that Nick, the Red Ranger, takes most of the focus into this series, and they really should have focused on the other Rangers more because they were interesting. and the Master shows up at the last couple of episodes and we're supposed to care now, and the series did get a bit too inconsistent. At number 14 we have Wild Force. It's a shame to say the best thing to come out of this series are the team up episodes. Reinforcements of the Future and Forever Red are some of my favourite episodes of all time, but the series doesn't really do anything for me. I like when the series went dark, for example the Sanako storyline, which was awesome, but there is like a handful of episodes I can just skip. When the series went a bit too light-hearted and cheesy, that's when I lost interest. At number 13 we have S.P.D. Now this used to be in my top 10, but after some time this is a series that could have handled things better. For instance, the Omega Ranger shouldn't have been this whole big floating ball for the whole series. S.P.D. had such a great start. The Rangers and the supporting characters are very interesting, the props and the set designs are incredible, and Ron Westman comes back to sing the main theme song is a massive thumbs up. I just don't think S.P.D. was strong throughout the series as it was from the start. At number 12 we have Ninja Storm. Okay, Lothor's a terrible villain and I'm not a big fan on Shane and Hunter. This series to me is the same with Lightspeed Rescue. The majority of elements of Ninja Storm are just okay. But here's the thing, when the series got a bit too cheesy and goofy, and that's like pretty much all the time, that's when it becomes very entertaining. And it was the first series to do a different formula, and it really worked. At number 11 we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Series 2. There are some great episodes, even the filter episodes, and some great moments. Tommy becoming the White Ranger, the arrival of Lord Zeddy made such a dark presence to the series, the arrival of the Thunder Megazord, the battle between the White Ranger and the Green Ranger. The major problem I have with Series 2 is that there is no adjustment. Everything keeps changing too much and too fast, and there's no time to breathe. And not to mention that Austin St. John, Walter Jones, Trutron walked out the show halfway through, and they didn't get the send-off they deserved. And Lord said people complained about him. Parents complained that the kids were scared of him, which led to a wrong direction. He went a bit goofy. They bring back Rita, and it just really didn't go well in this series. But it came close to becoming in the top 10. At number 10 we have Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge. Apart from the last 10 episodes falling apart with storytelling and characters, this is just such a fun series. After 20 years of Power Rangers and Sabah making some bad seasons, I thought there isn't anything else going to surprise me. But this series blew me away. I love the Rangers and I hope to meet them someday at a convention. It had compelling storylines. The writing was absolutely fantastic. It was a sheer pleasure watching this series, and it was actually funny. There were times this series made me laugh. That's how good the writing is. At number 9 I have Dino Thunder. Ideally this can be considered as an up-to-date version of Mighty Morphin in a great way. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the White Ranger arc, but apart from that it's a great series. Ideally the best thing about Dino Thunder is the return of Tommy Oliver. But Dino Thunder doesn't really rely on too much on Tommy Oliver, even though Fighting Spirit is such a great episode. The thing I love most about the series is that Connor, Ethan and Kira are actually teenagers with attitude. They don't get along at the beginning, they have other commitments they rather put first, and hell, Connor the Red Ranger can be a bit of a sexist jerk. This series has great character development. At number 8 we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Series 1. The one that started it all, and it's ironic having all 3 dinosaur themes in a row. Personally this came out 1 year before I was born, so I don't have that connection compared to other fans. Besides from having the most generic structure compared to other seasons, the Rangers fight a monster, the monster gets destroyed, the monster grows big, the Megazord comes destroys the monster, and that's pretty much most of the series. But if it weren't for the series we wouldn't be here today, and we still look up to the Rangers as role models because let's be honest, they are the coolest people in the 90s. Every episode is pretty much enjoyable, and it has my favourite lineup of monsters. Eye Guy, King Sphinx, the Minotaur, Pudgy Pig, and not forgetting it introduces the greatest Ranger of all time, Tommy Oliver. At number 7 I have Lost Galaxy. This is the season I started watching properly. I have fond memories on. The only thing that overdue its welcome was the quest for the Lights of Orion. But Lost Galaxy is just such a unique series, and it's still the most expensive Power Rangers series to date. It has kind of a Star Trek feel to it, but it did such a great job of standing on its own. Lost Galaxy did some incredible things. The first team up, killing off a Ranger, the Magna Defender story arc, the episode The Rescue Mission, which had a more of an alien vibe to it. And it was the first series not to have teenagers, more like young adults with professions. At number 6 I have Jungle Fury. This is just such a well crafted series and it doesn't get enough love. Does such a great job of standing on its own. It's kind of like if Ninja Storm and Wild Force combined together and did things better. I really like the Rangers, the theme song is kick-ass. I loved how the series progressed with every episode, and RJ is just such a cool ranger and mentor. And I love the fill-in factors in this series. Dai Shi, the Five Fingers of Poison, the Overlords, the Phantom Beast. And instead of doing another typical Battleizer or another plain team-up episode, they did the Spirit Rangers, which was a fresh idea. At number 5, I have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Series 3. I really wanted to put this at number 2, but I'm not a huge fan on the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers stuff. And I could separate them, but that would be too easy. Series 3 didn't rely on too much on Sentai footage, which led to fresh and interesting ideas. I enjoyed Rocky, Adam, Aisha much more than in Series 2, and I think Kimberly had the best send-off out of anyone in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. Series 3 does expand on certain things, such as the characters and the world, and not to mention that it introduced the Masked Rider, which led to his own spin-off. You can tell the quality of filming and editing was getting much better, and there are some great episodes to this series. Masterfy the Metallic Armor and the Ninja Quest are some of my personal favourite episodes. And it has a great fleet of Megazords. The Ninja Megazord, the Shogun Megazord, the Falcon Sword, Ninja. At number 4, I have Zeo. In some ways you can consider this as a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Series 4, because it does pick up where Series 3 took off. Zeo does such a great job of exploring the world whilst expanding at the same time. It's both a continuation from the Mighty Morphin era, but also adds something new. Really great writing, stronger plots, great character development. The Gold Ranger arc is incredible with the return of Jason, and the theme song is so great. It makes a point how great this series is, and I love it. And it has my favourite fleet of Megazords. It's a shame that Zeo didn't get the ending that it deserved. At number 3, I have RPM. Now RPM did things that no other series have done, and I don't think any other series in the future will do. The first few episodes doesn't feel like Power Rangers in a great way. RPM has some of the best character study in Power Rangers. There's episodes that focus on every individual ranger and also the mentor Dr. K. RPM just made some bold choices, killing off characters, mafia corruption, and almost all of humanity is wiped out. I wish they continued with this because they did open the door with future possibilities. Hell, I think Go Busters would be a great sequel to this, and it would be very interesting. Number 2, I have In Space. In Space took things to a whole new level, and it did such a great job of wrapping up the Sword era that began in Mighty Morphin in a nice bow. I appreciated the second half of the Turbo cast much more. It has great character drama, interesting feeling complex. And Countdown to Destruction is arguably the best Power Rangers episode of all time. In Space just builds and builds to a point that gives you some interesting twist, and the secrets revealed about Andros' sister, that caught me off guard. Andros is a great Red Ranger, and the Psycho Ranger arc is one of the best storylines of all time. Hell, I even like the Ninja Turtle crossover episode. At number 1, my favourite Power Rangers series of all time, and that's Time Force. Time Force had so many possibilities. Shown on prime time, having a second series, hell, even having its own movie. I grew up with Time Force. Time Force has always been my favourite series since it first aired about 16 years ago. My favourite thing about Time Force is the writing. They really nailed the time travelling stuff, and it had some great mature themes and some really out there worlds and some really gritty stuff. It even killed the Red Ranger in the first episode. But you can have fun with this series also. Check out Movie Madness. It is such a great two-parter. Ransik and Drax were such fascinating villains. Wes is one of my favourite Red Rangers of all time, and he has the best character arc in any Power Rangers series. Eric is my favourite Sixth Ranger of all time. There is so many layers to him. Jen is such a standout because she's the Pink Ranger, but she is the leader of the Power Rangers. And she isn't your typical gentle type. Time Force has just made such a massive impact on my life. This was the first series I cared more about the characters and the plots than the battles and the Megazords. I also said Time Force was my favourite series to Jason Font, and he was quite flattered. So my favourite Power Rangers series of all time? Time Force. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Go like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, what's your favourite Power Rangers series? What is your least favourite Power Rangers series? If you can rank all of them, please comment down below. I'll see you guys soon. Go check out my Facebook page, my Twitter page and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. I got your back. We did it.